All right, I wanted to pop on here for a few minutes. This isn't an order, but I wanted to talk about a little bit what these are. So, again, this in the Abundance Gift Shop, one of the things that we do, as I said, we purchase. We purchase items for discounted items. We try to, find the new greatest deals to try to offer them up for less. But also, yes, some of the items are used to fuel RAC outreach and missions, nonprofit in the community. My husband and I started and formed RAC outreach and missions with a group in 2015. It was the first type of business that we decided that we wanted to form above any small business until he was able and ready to retire from the corporate career he was already working and we were fully invested in and traveling around and committed to. That ended in 2024. In July 1st was July 1st, 2024 was when his first day and our new life began, to where he retired from that corporate job, and we decided to go into business for ourselves. In that first interim year, we worked full-time through the nonprofit as volunteers, while we also established employment for the nonprofit by sponsoring that first and foremost and doing everything we can to fundraise and fund save. We wanted to make sure that the operations that we already were doing could solidify and be more consistent and grow. So we created employment through RAC Outreach and Missions in 2024 as well. And also in 2024, him and I formed our first family business, RAC Lane Properties, which we had purchased a duplex that was already rented. And so that was the first business that we formed outside of the nonprofit while we were working through the nonprofit in 2024 full time. By the end of 2024, we decided that the work that in the programs, I guess you would call, that were operating under RAC Outreach and Missions, many of them deserve to actually become their own small business, because those that had formed it or had operated it, had run it, they just kind of wanted to have some ownership in it as well, which when you're operating under a nonprofit, it's a group effort. It's group counseling and governing. And us governing the funds that come to the nonprofit is what the main goal the nonprofit wants to do. It doesn't want to be fighting and arguing and discussing at this moment what to be doing with property. Like I said, adding employees was hard enough, because now we're asking, we are a group effort with employees, which even with our employees, we want everyone to own their time as much as possible and utilize their gifts to how they want to. If you want to stay as an employee, it's because you were already there as a volunteer and you brought your gift, and we're utilizing your gift, and we want to build and serve the community with what you have to offer, not plug you into something that's already operating. That is what moved out of the nonprofit. You'll see Cholesterol King and Queens, the Abundance Gift Shop name. You've heard, and then we have Safety Third. Those are all things that are businesses, but they were also gifted throughout the community through RAC Outreach and Missions throughout the years in various ways in their own departments. We did not want to form officially businesses under the nonprofit at this time. As life continues to grow, maybe in the next decade, maybe in the next up and coming team, maybe they'll want to do that. But the goal for ROM, RAC Outreach and Missions, is to keep building. It's a life builder, and we're community building. It's not about what RAC Outreach and Missions can be. It's just a starter and a finisher and a filler. That's all ROM is intended to really be. And again, as it develops and grows, maybe the missions will change a little bit more. Who knows? Nothing ever stays the same. But what we formed was, it was about being life support, period. However that looks like with whoever we're dealing with. We're not trying to stop hunger in America or anything like that. We are neighbors loving neighbors, and just connecting as we can and doing life as we can. Which, okay, again, I was the first volunteer, Christy Rasmussen. I was the first volunteer to show up. I asked for the foundation because I was already giving of my time to my family, to my home, to everyone around me all day long. So we formed a business to where I could share my gift and my energy when it worked for me. And I wasn't controlled by anybody. They were literally my support and my advocate of like when I needed a break. And that is actually what the foundation is more for. It's actually for the volunteers. It's there for sponsors. It's there to listen to those who want to give as we're taking requests from those who are in need or in want. And then we're like a bridge in between that can help filter and prioritize with less emotion maybe. And it's more just prioritizing based on what resources we have versus the needs that are being requested on the table. And it's kind of blind. Not all the time, but most of the time, it's blind information that we're working from under the foundation. But again, when I first started, the very beginning, a lot of the people I met were stay-at-home moms who were small business moms as well. You know, there's like, see, I have this doTERRA product, and I have Arbonne product. doTERRA and Arbonne reps, I have met we've had at least 4 or 5 that we have worked with through the nonprofit that was actually where funds went to. Funds went to having a gathering of stay-at-home moms and friends and family and connection. We would come together while a representative shared the item that they were trying in their product lines that they were selling and have a house party. Most of the time in my connections, we were all in the same boat. We were all looking to stay home and to be additives in our home however we could from home. My additive personally was hosting. And so in part of my hosting, I would participate and sponsor in feeding people. I had the space for people to come to, and I would pitch in my $5 to $20 into the pot of cash towards purchasing something from whoever happened to come, be the vendor of the day. So there were times that I would ask a vendor, I ended up coming to where I would ask a vendor to come, or they were asking to have a party, and so I'd put together a party. But to take the pressure off of my friends and family from buying, I waited until I had at least $50 together to put in a $50 order, or I could pay that representative $50 for coming and speaking about their product for that hour. It gave them time to practice their speech and their carrying on about their product and sharing with what they've learned. And they got fed, they got watered, they got heard, they got practice. And all the women at the party or men that ever showed up, they also received information about some other possible way of doing life. And it also led to communicating and building a network of friends coming together to where we would share our $5 to $10 and pool it together to make a qualifying order for that vendor of the day. So we all became sponsors with $5 to $10 out of our budget, and we got fed, we got watered, we got time, we had a date that was affordable for us stay-at-home moms with children who could run around this place. And the vendor who was also trying to make a sale won that day. They won. Each one of us was trying to sell something. We went on rotation. Everyone got their chance to have their time to share, and they all would get an order of some sort and grow. And sometimes, so again, a lot of vendors would come to me and say they wanted to fundraise with me. Oh, I've got this product that we could do a fundraiser for you. When in all reality, every vendor I was speaking to or meeting were actually the one in need and question, in need of funds. More than the foundation was in need of funds. The funds in the foundation was saved for that need/want of a sale, of a product sale that came for a mom and a wife who could be with her children and do something outside of herself a little bit. That actually is one of the very first and continuing missions that is going on. We feed people in group homes now. We do have side quests that we're connecting with homeless shelters and other nonprofit specific things. World Hunger, I think World Vision is one that we have submitted some funds to. We serve Atella orphans in Kenya. When we can send them $10, $20, which even Miss Rebecca, all the way in Kenya, through our years of working together, she took $100 and invested that with the bank to get herself a storefront, and she started making product for her community that was affordable by watching what we were doing here. We are literally reaching to Africa, showing them how we have made nothing turn into something from right where we are. We get some amazing artifacts that she'll send to us from Kenya, but I don't ask her to send it until she has gotten that. She has an agreement with someone at the post office that they pay for her shipping. As long as it doesn't cost her money to ship us stuff, that's the only way I want to accept it, because I want her then to take that. I will tell her to keep that product and take that, and I'll send her money for the product that she wanted to send me, and I've asked her to go put it towards something else and hold that product until she could ship it for free or ship it later when we could pay for that later. But in that moment, she needed every dollar that she needed, and I didn't need more stuff coming our way, so I asked her to hold it. So yes, we help those in need, but it's not a charity broken thing. It's a life building process that all of Rack Life is. It's all about, we came from brokenness. We came from nothing. We came from self-sabotage. We still self-sabotage. Then that's why we have the community, is for us to, when we mess up, we have accountability that we come back to and we work from.